Hello, everybody. My name is Dez Loreen. Thanks to the Inuvik Centennial Library, I am here today to read to you A Promise is a Promise by Robert Munsch and Michael Kusugak. So let's get right into it because this is one of my favorite books from childhood. I'm very, very big into Inuit lore, legends, and that sort of thing, and this is right up that alley. So here we go. Okay. On the very first day of spring, Alushua said to her family, I'm going to go fishing. I'm going to go fishing in the ocean, and I'm going to go fishing in the cracks of the sea ice. Said her mother, don't go fishing in the sea ice. Under the sea ice live the Kalapilluit, and they grab the children who aren't with their parents. Don't go fishing in the ocean. Go fish in the lake. All right, said Alushua. I promise to go fishing in the lake and not in the ocean. And a promise is a promise. So right there, she's making a promise to her family. She won't go to the ocean. She says she'll go to the lake. So Alushua set out like she was going to go to the lake near her house. But when she got to the end of the street, she didn't go to the lake. She walked down the long snowy path that led to the ocean. At the end of the ocean, the cracks were where the tide broke and jumbled into the ice. Alushua looked very carefully and did not see any Kalapilluit. And she said, on TV, I've seen Santa Claus, fairy godmothers, and the Tooth Fairy, but never any Kalapilluit. I think my mother is wrong. But just in case her mother was right, Alushua stood beside the sea ice and yelled, Kalapilluit have dirty noses. And nothing happened. Alushua yelled, Kalapilluit smell like the dead whale in the summertime. And still nothing happened. Alushua walked right out onto the sea ice and yelled as loud as she could, Kalapilluit, Kalapilluit can't catch me. Nothing happened. The only thing Alushua heard was the sound of the snow blowing over the ice. So Alushua got out her line and her hook. She walked over to a large crack in the ice and started to fish. Right away, a fish grabbed the hook, and Alushua pulled it up. She caught 6 fish in a row. Alushua yelled, I am the best fisherman in the world. And from behind her, something said with a voice that sounded like snow blowing over the ice, the best you may be, but the smartest you are not. Alushua turned around, and there between her and the shore were the Kalapilluit. They looked at her and said, have you seen the child who said Kalapilluit have dirty noses? Oh no, Kalapilluit, I have not seen such a child, and besides, your noses are very pretty. Have you seen the child who said, oh, we smell like a dead whale in the summertime? Oh no, Kalapilluit, I have seen no such child, and besides, you smell very nice, just like flowers in the summer. Have you seen the child who yelled, Kalapilluit, Kalapilluit can't catch me? Oh no, Kalapilluit, I have seen no such child, and besides, my mother says that you can catch whoever you want to. Right, said the Kalapilluit, we catch whatever we want, and right now, what we want to catch is you. Uh-oh. One grabbed Alushua by her feet and dragged her down under the sea ice where the Kalapilluit live. The seawater stung Alushua's face like fire. Alushua held her breath, and the Kalapilluit gathered around her and sang with voices that sounded like snow blowing over the ice. Human child, ours to have, ours to hold. Forget your mother, forget your brother, ours to hold under the ice. Uh-oh. Alushua let out her breath and yelled, my brothers and sisters, I'll bring them all to the sea ice. For a moment, nothing happened, and the Kalapilluit threw Alushua up on top of the sea onto the cold wind of the ice and said, a promise is a promise. You bring your brothers and sisters to the sea ice, and we will let you go. Alushua began to run up the long snow-covered path to her home, and as she ran, her clothes started to freeze. And she ran more and more slowly until she fell off to the ground. And that is when Alushua's father found her. almost at the back door, frozen into the snow. Alushua's father gave a great yell, picked up Alushua, and carried her inside. He tore off Alushua's icy clothes and put her to bed. Then the father and mother got under the covers and hugged Alushua until she got warm. After an hour, Alushua asked for some hot tea. She drank 10 cups of hot tea with lots of sugar, and she said, "I went to the cracks in the sea ice." Ah, said her family, "not so smart." I called the Kalapilloit nasty names. Said her family, dumber still. I promised to take my brothers and sisters to the cracks in the sea ice, and I promised them all to the Kalapilloit. Shouldn't have done that. Said her family, a promise is a promise. Then her mother and father made some tea, sat and drank it, and didn't say anything for a long time. From far down the snow-covered path that led to the sea, the Kalapilloit began calling. A promise is a promise. A promise is a promise. A promise is a promise. And the mother looked at her children and said, I have an idea. You do exactly as I say. When I start dancing, all of you follow Alushua. You follow Alushua to the cracks in the sea ice. And the children all whispered to each other, why would our mother dance? This is not a happy time. Why would she dance? Alushua's mother went out to the back door and yelled, Kalapilloit, Kalapilloit, come and talk with me. And they did. They came right up to the cracks, right out of the cracks in the sea ice, and up the long snow-covered path. From the sea they came and stood by the back door. It was the most strange thing, for never before had the Kalapilloit left the ocean. The mother and father cried and yelled and asked for their children back, but the Kalapilloit said, a promise is a promise. The mother and father begged and pleaded and asked for their children back, but the Kalapilloit said, a promise is a promise. And finally, Alushua's mother said, Kalapilloit, you have hearts of ice, but a promise is a promise. So come and join us while we say goodbye to our children. She invited them inside. Everyone went inside. First, the mother gave her children some bread, and she said to the Kalapilloit, this is not for you. But the Kalapilloit said, we want some too, though. And the mother gave the Kalapilloit some bread, and they liked it a lot. Then the mother gave her children a piece of candy, and she said to the Kalapilloit, this is not for you. But the Kalapilloit said, but we want some too. And the mother gave the Kalapilloit some candy, and they liked it a lot. I like candy too. The candy's great. Then the father started to dance. He said to the Kalapilloit, this is not for you. And the Kalapilloit said, we have never danced. We want to dance. And they all started to dance. First they danced slowly, and then they danced fast. And then they started to jump and yell and scream and dance a wild dance. The Kalapilloit liked dancing so much that they forgot about children. Finally, the mother started to dance. And when the children saw their mother dancing, they crawled out the back door and ran down the long snowy path that led to the sea. And they came to the cracks of the sea ice. And Alushua whispered, Kalapilloit, Kalapilloit, here we are. Nothing happened. And then all the children said, Kalapilloit, Kalapilloit, here we are. And nothing happened. And then all the children yelled as loud as they could, Kalapilloit, Kalapilloit, here we are. And nothing happened. They all went back to the land and sat on a rock by the beach. 2 minutes later, the Kalapilloit ran screaming down the path, and they jumped into the cracks of the sea ice. And Alushua stood up on the rock and said, a promise is what you were given, and a promise is what you got. I brought my brothers and sisters here to the sea ice, but you are not here. A promise is a promise. The Kalapilloit yelled and screamed and pounded the ice until it broke. They begged and pleaded and asked to have the children. But Olushua said, "A promise is a promise." And the Kalapilloit jumped down to the bottom of the sea and took all of the cracks with them. And the whole ocean of ice became perfectly smooth. Then the mother and father came walking down the long snowy path to the ocean. They hugged and kissed each one of their children, even Olushua. The father looked at the flat ocean and said, "We will go fishing here, for Kalapilloit have promised to never catch children with their parents, and a promise is a promise." And they all did go fishing, quite happily, except for Olushua. She had been too close to the Kalapilloit and could hear them singing with voices that sounded like blowing snow. "Human child, ours to have, ours to hold. Forget your mother, forget your brother, ours to hold under the ice." The end. So now everybody, there's a little bit of information here for those who don't know. The Kalapilloit is an imaginary Inuit creature, somewhat like a troll that lives in Hudson Bay. It wears a woman's parka made of loon feathers and reportedly grabs children when they come too close to cracks in the sea ice. The Inuit traditionally spend a lot of time on the sea ice, so the Kalapilloit were clearly invented as a means, cleverly as well, as a means to keep small children away from dangerous crevices. Michael Kusugak, thinking back to his childhood in the Arctic, made up a story about his own encounter with the Kalapilloit. He sent it to Robert Munsch, who had stayed with Michael's family while he was in Rankin in NWT, back when it was the NWT, in Rankin Inlet. So a promise is a promise is a result of their collaboration. And what a collaboration it was, honestly. You know, this speaks to a lot of Inuvialuit stories that we even have here in the West. So it's not just from the East. A lot of these actually started from things, just making sure that kids and people were safe, like wearing their hats, properly dressed, and staying away from sea ice, because those cracks are dangerous. So that was one way to do it, was to tell people that there were monsters there. Personally, do I believe in that stuff? I don't know. It's pretty real to me. You guys have a great day, and we'll see you next time. So thank you again from the Inuvik Centennial Library and all of us in the town of Inuvik. Just remind you guys to be safe and to love each other and read books, because reading is awesome.